Alright then, it's time for a Dr.Mundo game. Of course, this is a ranked game, and it is on Rey Chorizo. In fact, it's the last placement match on this account. Which two? In my runes and masteries are attack speed red, armor yellow, magic resistance blues, scaling, and movement speed quints. And masteries are 5, 26, 0. Here's the thing though, these are not the runes or masteries I wanted to take. I just kind of screwed up. Nidalee tries to invade me down bottom. I don't know, I guess she was, warding and whatever. So because I'm very vulnerable without the runes and masteries, I decided to start on Grump and clear all the way down bottom. In fact, I have to wait here a little while before I have 10 red, so I don't die to it. I get to heal off with my smite. So I get red, I move up top, and by the way, Lucian is top lane. They have a Lucian and an Ezreal. Lucian tries to dive the Rek'Sai, but he forgets that only chicks with broken swords can do this properly. So I show up, he is forced to burn his flash, and it's just kind of a chase. I thought he was going to dash towards that direction, so my cleaver missed. Fortunately for me, I have an exhaust, and I have a smite, and we just pretty much catch him and kill him. He burned both the summoner spells during this as well, so it's a huge advantage. I managed to smite the Gragas. He's slow, but I missed my cleaver, and unfortunately that's going to result in us not being able to kill him. We do get him super low, though, so this is a huge advantage for my team already. Now, you guys know I take exhaust on Dr.Mundo because it's a very old school build, but mostly because it's kind of to counter the enemy team. Look at the enemy team. They have Gragas, they have Lucian, Ezreal, Nidalee, and Thresh. Not a lot of champions that can do anything to me. The only way they'll be able to kill me is if they scale beyond my power. Like, I think if I farm properly and I do anything, I'll be able to crush their asses once teamfight comes up. And exhaust will, subdue any actual threat to me. Like, if the Lucian got fed, exhaust on him, he's no problem anymore. I don't really have to flash or anything, I just have to bulldoze my way towards them. So, yeah, I actually picked Dr.Mundo to counter their team. I just figured they have no real means of killing me other than focus firing me, and that's already asking for stupid things to happen. So you saw that Nidalee, as soon as she jumped over to attack my Morgana, I exhausted her, I chase after her, and I just kind of keep assuming that my opponents are going to retreat a certain way, and I keep missing my cleavers. Fortunately for us, we killed the Nidalee, and it pretty much secures mid lane for my teammate, for a little while at least. Also, you saw, since I didn't take blue as my second camp, I was able to give it to Morgana. And it was able to help out her crappy situation versus Nidalee. But of course, as you can see, I'm having certain sustained issues because I don't have my Spellvamp runes. I usually take Spellvamp Quints, and sometimes, if it seems like I might get in, I'm fighting a very aggressive jungle, I'll take Spellvamp Masteries in the utility tree. Nonetheless, this is actually a really shitty thing for the Rek'Sai. He says his pathing screwed up, and I'm inclined to believe him because that tunnel tends to fuck up your pathing so many times, and he unfortunately gets gunned down. I'm 2v1 for right now. I'm taking a lot of damage because Morgana is very far away, and unfortunately I get dropped without Morgana being able to pick up a kill here. And unfortunately too, Morgana will also get dropped right now. As soon as his mini wave is over, she gets speared by Nidalee and gets taken out. So right now, the enemy Lucian is huge and powerful, and he can crush the Rek'Sai. However, Rek'Sai is going to be building nothing but armor and then a Tiamat just to push forever. So, even if the enemy team were to win their lanes, their team comp is really bad. So they'll probably just get crushed regardless. I go up to gank the Lucian, and of course the combination exhaust and ignite, exhaust and smite just pretty much keeps him pinned down forever. So he's pretty much an easy kill. Rek'Sai picks it up and pretty much dominates the lane even further. Now, Dr.Mundo is actually someone I would strongly recommend playing if you want to rank up. He's a lot stronger in the lower divisions than he is in the higher ones, because in the higher ones people know not to focus you, but in the lower divisions you can brute force your way to victories. It's like, look in this case, I don't know what the hell Lucian was thinking of doing, but I actually do a shitload of damage. I mean, I could have probably killed him by myself simply because I managed to clip him with a cleaver. In fact, notice in a lot of these situations when I'm fighting these fat tanks, one cleaver chunks them for a shitload of their health. And in fact, I've been playing Dr.Mundo, or at least been, practicing him more against these fat tanks, because he's pretty hard to kill already. Fat tanks are fucking wet noodles and they can't do shit. And Dr.Mundo chunks them already, so it's kind of like, he fits in this little meta. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to rush to pick him because his utility is still pretty low, and you probably still need some CC and initiators, but when it comes to solo queue, if you want to deal with the fat tanks, you could pick him and do well. I've seen players pick Nautilus. They picked, I believe it was jungle Nautilus and top lane, mid lane Cho'Gath and top lane Malphite against some team. I had a Mundo in my top lane, and that Mundo just fucking was unstoppable. I mean, the Malphite did nothing, and Mundo just kind of farmed that forever. And once team fights happened, they couldn't do anything to the Mundo. He was just too fat, and they hit like wet noodles, of course. So yeah, I definitely recommend Dr. Mundo. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that I either am first pick and kind of have to get worried about who I'm going to fight, or the enemy team just picks a composition that Dr. Mundo really wouldn't do against, I would be picking Dr. Mundo more often. He was actually one of the junglers that got me through a lot of divisions in past seasons. If you look through my video library, you can see a lot of Dr. Mundo games in lower divisions, just because he's unstoppable if he gets fed, and that's very possible to happen in lower divisions. I mean, look at here. So we lure Thresh down, and he just kind of takes a lot of free damage, and then the Graves gets ridiculously brave. He's going to hide behind this wall and dash forward and just nuke the Ezreal. And I use my fat ass just to make Gragas think twice about going in. I slow him, whatever, and just let Graves destroy Thresh while I keep Gragas at bay. Look how much damage I do with just for pretty much little effort. I chunk him with Qs. Nidalee manages to spear the Nami and then just eviscerates her. Then there's really nothing I can do here except toss more Qs. And oh yeah, by the way, Dr. Mundo is also getting a cool little buff. We catch Nidalee, we kill her, and by the way, what I mean by that buff is whenever he last hits something with his Q, he gets 100% refund. So that's wonderful for both jungle and the lane. No more for the lane than it is in the jungle. By the way, you see, I chunked the shit out of Thresh, and Morgana catches him, and we murder him. It's just, remember, I love these types of champions that have a lot of fuck you attitude. If the enemy team makes a mistake of either focusing me or ignoring me, they're going to get massively punished. And it's gotten to the point now, with Arando and Zoman, there is nothing the enemy team can do to stop me unless focusing me for a good 5 or something seconds. But focusing me is going to lead them to all just get absolutely eviscerated by the rest of my teammates. So, as you can see, I knowing this, I'm starting to adopt a give no fucks attitude. I'll just go up to them, chunk them. I'm going to heal myself back up if my ultimate comes into play. And it's like distracting them like this. It's just letting my Graves teammate farm for free and get crazy. It's like, look, the second I get low, I'll just use my ultimate and pretty much chunk myself back to full. Thresh is like in no man's land right now. Nidalee goes forward. She gets double exhausted. We actually crossed her exhausts. And then she gets gunned down by the Graves and by the Morgana. I use my smite on Ezreal, sort of push him off. I didn't intend to miss my Q, but I did. And then Graves comes in and just starts, gunning him down. As you see, it's reached that point. This is a very good example that you could make that argument. You could play whatever you want in solo queue, but sometimes you really cannot make a really shitty team, because no matter what you do, you're bound to lose. Even if you get farmed or fed, if your team comp is so poor, you're still gonna get your ass whipped. I mean, imagine this. Imagine if the enemy team had all Grievous Wounds type of champions and they were all Mundo killers. Even if I got fed 20-0, if I couldn't lead my team to victory during the time frame before the enemy team got to a position where they could kill me, then it doesn't matter how big I got, I'm still going to get wrecked. And the same thing goes in this case. They were actually very mad at Lucian for having picked Lucian after those Zarya and Ezreal. Lucian went top lane, and even though he punished my Rek'Sai, he made a mistake and got destroyed. And even if he hadn't made those mistakes, just coming into mid game, you have a Rek'Sai and you have a Dr. Mundo who will get farmed and who will get big and can just brush out the damage of 80 carries. You saw there, I just kind of bulldozed my way to Ezreal. There's nothing you can do. And plus, I am also packing an exhaust, which makes their situation even worse. So even if Lucian got fed and big, an exhaust was just going to remove his power. So yeah. And this was a very clear-cut victory, but not to denounce the enemy team's skills, because you could see that Nidalee could land spears. The Thresh at least warded and knew where he was supposed to go, and the Gragas seemed to know what he was also supposed to do. And in fact, his build reflects that he actually knows Gragas. It's just their team comp was so screwed up. They quickly lost any advantage they ever had, and even if they ever caught us off guard, it was very evident that they couldn't fight us. Even if they surprised us, we were able to either turn it around or just kind of shrug it off. Either way, with the ending of this game, Rey Chorizo became Platinum 2. By the way, if you are ever wanting any Stonewall 008 merchandise, now's your chance to own some. Click the link in the description and it will take you to teespring.com to a personalized page where you can obtain a Stonewall shirt. Also, I'm now being sponsored by Pro Build Systems, and they're currently doing giveaways from their website and their Twitter, so follow them if you'd like a chance to win some prizes.